Counterpoint, the general knowledge music quiz, chaired by Paul Gambaccini.
Hello. Another three music lovers join me at the Radio Theatre in London for the latest heat in Counterpoint's 36th series. We'll be testing them with an eclectic assortment of questions covering every genre of music. Let's meet today's competitors.
Hi, I'm Josh Cleary. I'm from London, and the first CD I ever bought was Be Not Nobody by Vanessa Carlton.
Hello, my name is Naadim Shamji. I'm from Sunbury-on-Thames, and the first record that I ever bought was a collection of Handel's Largos.
Hi, my name is Dave Workman. I'm from London, and the first cassette single I bought was Bop by Hanson.
Welcome, all of you. The opening round tests your musical general knowledge. There are 2 points available per question, and if the person asked can't answer correctly, I'll open it up to the others for a bonus point. Good luck, everyone. In the words of the proclaimers, I'm on my way. And today's first question is for you, Josh Cleary. Black History Month originated in the U.S., where it's celebrated every February. The month of remembrance, recognition, and education is marked in the U.K. in October. A recent article in the UK magazine profiles Aldwyn Roberts, a Trinidadian calypsonian better known as Lord Kitchener. He composed London is the Place for Me, a song that expressed the sentiments of many of his fellow passengers who arrived at Tilbury Dock on the 22nd of June, 1948, on board which ship?
Is it the Windrush?
Correct, for 2 points. Naadim Shamji. Some audio for you from The Truth About Jazz, a series broadcast on Radio 4 in December 2022, examining the stories of protest and politics behind jazz music. Here, presenter Clive Myrie revisits the lyrics of the jazz standard Black and Blue, which began life in a 1929 musical review, but took on an enhanced social message in this rendition by whom?
Cold empty bed, springs hard as lead. Feel like old Ned. Wished I was dead. What did I do to be so black and blue? Even the mouse ran from my house. They laugh at you and scorn you too. What did I do to be so black and blue?
Louis Armstrong.
It is Louis Armstrong for 2 points. Dave Workman. As civil rights progressed during the early golden age of musical theater, some composers worked to normalize the toleration of minorities. A musical of that time tells the story of an elderly Irishman who buries a pot of gold near Fort Knox in the mistaken belief that it will grow. The musical includes Irish, gospel, and R&B influences. What is its name?
I don't know, sorry.
And does anyone else know the name of that musical? Time for a revival of Finian's Rainbow. Music for you, Josh Cleary. Here's a recent version of Labi Siffre's Something Inside So Strong by a vocal ensemble that's performed at royal weddings, opening ceremonies of sporting events, and has recorded with the rapper Stormzy. Can you identify them?
Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, yeah. Though you're doing it wrong, yeah. Know that my pride was gone, yeah, yeah, yeah. Something inside so strong, yeah. Something inside so strong.
Are they the Kingdom Choir?
It is the Kingdom Choir for 2 points. Naadim Shamji. What are the names of the twin probes sent into space in 1977, which contain messages, images, sounds, and a gold disc, including music by Mozart, Bach, Louis Armstrong, and Chuck Berry?
The Voyager probe.
Voyager 1 and 2, correct. Dave Workman, let's take a voyage with music which incorporates conceptual elements of Afrofuturism and science fiction. It's from the 2010 concept album The Arch Android by an award-winning American singer-songwriter who began her musical career in 2003. After you've heard Suite 3 Overture, I'd like you to name her.
Janelle Monáe.
It is Janelle Monáe. Josh Cleary, the titles of two recent albums by the Irish rock band U2 are named after which collections of 18th century poems by William Blake?
Songs of Innocence and Experience.
You're correct. Naadim Shamji, more poetically inspired music for you, in this case by Rimsky-Korsakov, taking his theme from an 1834 poem by Alexander Pushkin. The introduction to this opera heralds the arrival of a mysterious astrologer who introduces a fictional tale with a valid and true moral. After you've heard it, I'd like you to name the work.
Is it the invisible city of Ketve?
I'm sorry, it isn't. Can anyone else name it? And Dave Workman says?
Scheherazade?
No, it's not Scheherazade. Nice guess, though. Josh, do you want to name anything?
Sleeping Beauty.
It's not, of course. It's the Golden Cockerel. Dave Workman. William Control's 2008 electronic album Revelations is split into 4 EPs with the names The Pale, The Black, The Red, and The White, in reference to which figures in the Christian scriptures?
Horsemen of the Apocalypse?
That's right, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Josh Cleary, your next extract is from Six, a British musical comedy with book, music, and lyrics by Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss. The modern retelling of the lives of the 6 wives of Henry VIII is presented as a pop concert as each queen takes turns to tell her story. When you've heard the words to Heart of Stone, performed by Natalie Paris, I'd like you to identify the queen she's portraying.
Soon I'll have to go. I'll never see him grow. But I hope my son will know he'll never be alone. 'Cause like a river runs dry and leaves its scars behind, I'll be by your side.
Jane Seymour.
That's right, for 2 points. Naadim Shamji. Often referred to as the queen of the piano, the 19th century German composer Clara Schumann was one of the most distinguished pianists of the Romantic era. In her later years, she taught piano at the Hoch Conservatory in which German city?
Hamburg?
I'm sorry, would someone else like it? And Josh Cleary says,
Leipzig.
no? Dave?
Munich?
No, it was Frankfurt. We have a lot of people in the audience. We could go around and... Anyway, and Dave, here's your own question. We end this round with incidental music composed by Ralph Vaughan Williams in 1909. Originally written for a Cambridge Greek play production, it's performed here by the Halle Orchestra in 2007. Can you name the work?
Oedipus Rex?
I'm sorry, that's not it. And Josh Cleary thinks it is?
The Wasps.
Yes, indeed, for your bonus points. Now let's see who has created a buzz as I reveal the scores after that opening round, and tied for second place with 4 points each. Naadim Shamji and Dave Workman, and in the lead with 9 points, it's Josh Cleary. Because you picked subjects for the next round in the order of your scores in the first, we have to break the tie. I'll ask the two of you, that's Naadim and Dave, to write down the answer to a fiendish tiebreak question, then invite you to reveal it. The nearest answer will get the advantage. Here comes your tiebreak question. How many individual works do you think there are in the National Portrait Gallery's collection of photographs, paintings, prints, and drawings that feature an image of Paul McCartney? Paul McCartney in the National Gallery, how many times? And let's see the answer written by Naadim. What is it?
I'm going to say 42.
You're going to say 42, and Dave is saying
421.
the nearest is Naadim. It's 79. Now our competitors have to choose their own special subjects for the second round. They haven't come prepared, but I'm about to give them 5 categories to pick from, of which they've had no prior warning. They get to choose in the order of their scores so far. Here are the categories: Mozart at the movies, the cultural inspirations of Kate Bush, Desert Island Discs, a brief browse through Bruckner, and streaming the decades. Josh Cleary, you're in the lead at the moment. What would you prefer?
The cultural, what was it? The Kate Bush one? Sorry.
The Kate Bush one. The cultural inspirations of Kate Bush. And for you, Naadim?
I'll take the Bruckner, please.
And that leaves 3 for Dave Workman, and they are Mozart at the movies, Desert Island Discs, and Streaming the Decades.
I'll take Streaming the Decades, please.
We will start with you, Dave Workman, and your specialist questions on Streaming the Decades. In November 2022, the official chart company identified the biggest streaming hits for each calendar year of release going back for 70 years. Now, please bear in mind, streaming has only been popular this century, so that means the list deviates quite markedly from the songs that were popular at the time. The most streamed 1950s tracks, in other words, the most streamed this century, include Jailhouse Rock by Elvis, I've Got a Woman by Ray Charles, and which song by Johnny Cash that became the title of a film about his life?
Walk the Line.
That's right. Apart from a couple of entries by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, the 1960s streams are dominated by soul. They include this Motown group. Can you identify them?
Temptations?
It is the Temptations for 2 points. No surprises, but the biggest sounds from the 1970s delivered to your devices include those of Elton John, Queen, and Fleetwood Mac. But the most streamed song of 1973 is by an artist who recently received a $100 million award from Amazon founder Jeff Bezos to donate to her favorite charities. Who is that?
Dolly Parton.
It is Dolly Parton. The song was Jolene. Fleetwood Mac are also among the most streamed artists of the 1980s. Their song Everywhere from 1988 was written by a Mac member who sadly passed away in November 2022. After you've heard it, I'd like you to tell me her name.
Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. I speak a little louder, I'll even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out. I wanna be with you everywhere.
Christine McVie.
It is Christine McVie. The Rolling Stones only appear once on this list with their 1966 song Paint It Black. However, part of a track recorded the previous year called The Last Time features in the biggest streaming hit of 1997. A rock band sampled the Andrew Oldham Orchestra's version of it. On which song?
Bittersweet Symphony.
That is right, Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve. The most streamed songs of the first decade of the 2000s include Arctic Monkeys, who were heralded as one of the first bands to come to public attention via the internet. There are songs by The Killers, Eminem, Nickelback, and this American guitarist and singer-songwriter. This is the most streamed single released in 2008. I'd like you to name him.
So I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate.
Jack Johnson?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Jason Mraz. Our final small data packet delivery is a single from 2011. Can you name the song which starts with the lyrics, I heard that you've settled down, that you found a girl, and you're married now?
Someone Like You.
Exactly, by Adele. And Dave Workman? 12 points in that round, added to your previous 4. Total of 16. A brief browse through Bruckner with Naadim Shamji. With which instrument was Anton Bruckner mainly associated as a performer?
The organ.
That is right. Here's music from a 2022 version of Bruckner's Fourth Symphony, conducted by Sir Simon Rattle with the London Symphony Orchestra, after which I'd like you to tell me its nickname.
The romantic.
For 2 points. In which Austrian city will you find the Bruckner Orchestra playing in the Bruckner House as part of the Bruckner Fest?
Linz.
That's right, it's the composer's birthplace. Bruckner's music features on many soundtracks. Here's the Adagio from another symphony of his, which has been included in the 2006 film Tell No One, the TV series Mad Men, and the video game Call of Duty. Which numbered symphony is this?
Number 7.
That's right. To which composer did Bruckner dedicate his Symphony No. 3 in D minor?
Richard Wagner.
Oh, yes. Bruckner's Ninth Symphony remained unfinished at the time of his death in 1896. However, he did suggest that the following choral piece work might be used as a sort of makeshift finale. Which work is it?
Te Deum.
That is the Te Deum. Bruckner said, when God calls me to him and asks me, what have you done with the talent I gave you? Then I shall hold up the rolled up manuscript of my Te Deum, and I know he shall be a compassionate judge. Finally, what was the title of the TV movie directed in 1990 by Ken Russell about the composer's obsession with numbers?
Numerology.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was The Strange Affliction of Anton Bruckner. And you see, the reason that I really am sorry is the only reason you did not score a perfect round. Because, Naadim, you scored 12 points with your previous 4, and you now have 16 points. Josh Cleary will now walk us through the cultural inspirations of Kate Bush. Since the outset of her career, Kate Bush's songs have drawn on a wide variety of cultural references and influences. Which Victorian writer provided the inspiration for her very first hit?
Is it Emily Bronte?
It is Emily Bronte. Kate had never read Wuthering Heights. She based her song on a faint memory of a TV adaptation. The work of another great novelist, an Irish one this time, inspired this Kate Bush song. When you've heard part of The Sensual World, I'd like you to name me which writer.
James Joyce?
Yes. I've always wanted to impersonate Molly Bloom. The words are inspired by Molly Bloom's monologue at the end of Ulysses. A key influence on Kate's visual and performance style was a British dancer and teacher, another of whose pupils was David Bowie. After taking mime classes with him as a teenager, Kate wrote the song Moving on her first album as a tribute to him. What was his name?
Marcel Marceau?
No, very nice guess, but it was in fact Lindsay Kemp. Time for more music. A question will follow.
They arrived at a convenient time. I was hiding in a room in my mind. They made me look at myself. I saw it, but I shut the people out of my life. So now I take the opportunity. Wonderful teachers ready to teach me.
That song from Kate's first album, The Kick Inside, is about people whose often obscure ideas she grappled with as a teenager, including the Armenian mystic and philosopher Gurdjieff. How does she describe them in the title of that song?
Them heavy people.
That is correct. Them heavy people is the correct answer to this question. On her albums The Sensual World and The Red Shoes, Kate included vocals by a group of traditional singers who had brought the folk music of their native country to a wider audience on Grammy-winning albums in the 1980s. From which country did these women originate?
South Africa?
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Bulgaria. They were called the Trio Bulgarka. Here's part of a Kate Bush song that pays tribute to a moody old man. When you've heard it, please tell me which musical figure it's about.
Frederick Delius.
That is right. The song was inspired by a Ken Russell film about the Yorkshire-born composer entitled A Song of Summer. Ken Russell's second appearance this show. Finally, on the back of the sleeve of Kate's album Hounds of Love is this quotation from a Victorian poem. Wave after wave, each mightier than the last, till last a ninth one, gathering half the deep and full of voices, slowly rose and plunged, roaring, and all the wave was in a flame. Whose poem is that?
William Shakespeare.
It was Alfred Lord Tennyson. But hey, who's complaining, Josh? Because in that round you scored 8, added to your previous 9, you now have 17 points. Well, get a load of this. After the individual round, tied for second with 16 points, Naadim Shamji and Dave Workman. And our leader with just one round to go with 17 points is Josh Cleary. It's fingers on the buzzer once again for the return of our quick-fire final round. This is where things can change quickly. A correct answer wins you 1 point, but you lose a point if you buzz in and fail to answer correctly. There are no bonuses. So, fingers poised, here we go. Which UB40 hit of 1989 shares its name with the capital city of Jamaica? Dave Workman.
Kingston Town.
Yes. According to the song lyrics, being a rocket scientist, Brad Pitt or Elvis Presley doesn't impress Dave Workman.
Shania Twain.
Yes, indeed. In Wagner's Ring Cycle, how are water nymphs Voglinde, Velgunda, and Flosshilde better known? Naadim Shamji.
The Rhine Maidens?
Yes. Which Benjamin Britten opera about a German novelist traveling to Italy is, and Josh says...
Death in Venice.
For the point. Which Baroque composer, born in 1678, was nicknamed the Red Priest because, and Josh says...
Vivaldi.
He's right. Ralph Van Williams' Seventh Symphony is named after which continent? Naadim.
The Antarctic?
Correct. Emma Thompson plays Agatha Trunchbull. And Dave says...
Matilda.
Yes. Which 1990s number one by Corner Shop pays tribute... And Dave says...
Brimful of Asher.
Yes. Which American singer, known for the songs Fame and Flashdance, passed away, Josh?
Irene Carr.
You're correct. Irene Cara. Ain't Misbehavin' is a biography of which jazz pianist, Naadim?
Fats Waller?
You're right. Which composer is buried adjacent to the organ in Westminster Abbey? It's Henry Purcell. Which Kylie Minogue album is named after the Greek goddess for love and beauty, Josh?
Aphrodite.
Yes. The BBC4 documentary Roller Mania is about, and Dave says...
Bay City Rollers.
And he gets a point. Americans call it a quarter note. By what name is this musical note? And Josh says...
A crotchet.
He's right. Finally, which T-Rex track, when released in the United States, was renamed... Dave Workman.
Get it on?
Yes, and that was renamed Bang a Gong, and you banged that gong. Time is up. The final scores in today's heat of counterpoints are third with 19 points, Naadim Shamji, and tied with 22 points, Josh Cleary and Dave Workman. So we need a tie break to separate our tied contestants because I'm afraid we've only room for one of you in the semis. The place will go to the person who answers this question correctly first. You can interrupt me if you're sure, but remember, if you give me the wrong answer, your opponent gets the chance to steal it. And here is the tie break question. Which city links the following? A symphony founded by Theodore Thomas, a musical set in the 1920s, the home of chess records, Sinatra's Kinda Town, and Josh says,
New York.
no. Dave, do you want to guess?
Chicago?
Yes, you win! Oh, dear me. I guess it must have been Sinatra that took you the wrong way there. Congratulations, Dave Workman. It means you'll be back for the semifinals in just over a month's time. Well done, the other two of you, for making this probably the closest contest we've ever had. 2 tiebreaks. Next week, for the first time this series, we'll be in Salford, welcoming another 3 music lovers playing Counterpoint. Until then, from everyone here, goodbye.